Well. What an interesting day it has been around these parts. The San Francisco 49ers are headed to the NFC Championship game, their fourth in 5 years, three in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And the major talking point today amongst national media is 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. And I would ask you, are you surprised that that is the main talking point? And I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not. I really think you could set your watch to this type of talking points today. And boy, it has been an eventful one. We have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk defending their quarterback on social media. We have talking head after talking head taking shots, retracting previous statements. What a time to be alive. But at the end of the day, there are only four quarterbacks who are playing in the NFC Championship game. And or should I say, let me rephrase that. There are three terrific quarterbacks playing in the NFC Championship game and Brock Purdy. We're going to talk about it all right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Oh boy. It's a Monday for the media, right? We didn't hear a ton of coverage on Sunday because it's a weekend for them. They don't, unless they're scheduled to work on Sundays, they're not going to be putting out their hot takes. They're not going to be on their shows and doing their podcasts unless they're psychopaths like me who work around the clock. But that's why I would say today is National Dump on Brock Purdy Day, because everyone's back in the office. Everyone has an opinion about 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. And of course, naturally, we talk about it because we are in the middle of it. We've been in the middle of this fight since training camp. Speaking of, I'll just talk about this really quickly and then we can move on beyond this. Apparently, dude, today has been crazy that I almost forgot about this. Apparently, the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan wanted to sign Tom Brady in the offseason. And, normally we would hear these types of things and it would be like, well, unnamed source says Kyle Shanahan was interested in signing Tom Brady this offseason. We'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. The source was Brock Purdy. The source is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I don't know, but Nick Wagner put out an article last week, and in the article, Brock Purdy's quoted in saying that Kyle Shanahan sat him down and told him if he's healthy, he's going to be the starter, but if they can sign Tom Brady, they're going to do that. And that's how we started our day today. Because, I saw the Nick Wagner article. I didn't get all the way through it. And then I think it was Pro Football Talk who kind of highlighted it. And the reason why Florio highlighted it, because he's been banging the table for like 2 or 3 years that the 49ers were going to go after Tom Brady. So I'm not surprised that he was like, it was basically like, see, I told you. But hey, it didn't happen. And honestly, I respect Brock Purdy even more for what he's gone through this season. That's got to be difficult. And he essentially said that. He essentially said that in the article. He said, I showed you I can run this offense. I showed you I could win. We were one game away from the Super Bowl. And he's like, I get it. That's the GOAT. And he's like, but all right. Okay. Challenge accepted. And honestly, it kind of set the tone for today, I think, because that's kind of, I think, what today kind of represents. Kyle, we find out Kyle Shanahan sat him down, said we're interested in Tom Brady. All the media is piling on him after leading a phenomenal drive in a divisional round in a game that was gross, disgusting, looked like they were going to lose, probably should have lost, and somehow, some way, against all odds, Brock Purdy clutched up on the final drive and led the team down, scored a touchdown, and the 49ers ultimately win. In the moment of the game where it mattered most, Brock Purdy was the quarterback who stepped up to the challenge and got it done. Jordan Love made the critical mistake in the end. But, hold on one second. Stop the presses. Chat legend Don Burr is in the building. He says, Detroit versus everybody. We're coming. Penei Sewell said, F knocking on the door. Kick that mother effer down. Oh, boy, Donnie boy. It's on like Donkey Kong, baby. You're going down, Donnie. All the pleasantries are out the door, Donnie. 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 All the pleasantries are out the door, pal. You're enemy number one. So get ready for a week that you'll remember for the rest of your life. It's on, Donnie boy. And if you guys don't know, and if you are new to the channel, Don Burr, what year was it, Don? It was 2021. I still got the schedule. It was 2021. Week 1, the San Francisco 49ers face off against the Detroit Lions. Mr. Don Burr spent probably 3 months in our lives leading up to week 1, and he's never left our hearts. But Donnie boy, the time is now. The time is now, Donnie boy, that we become foes again. And I've been waiting for you, Donnie. I've been waiting for you to show up. Because now we are back to a familiar place of being enemies. And I look forward and I relish in this moment. Because this is where our bond was forged in trash talk. So I'm ready. I'm ready, Don. You better be ready, Don. Woo. Oh, boy. You ready? Don, are you going to the game? I hope so. Show you what real fans look like, Donnie boy. Shout out Don Burr, chat legend. I've been waiting for Don to show up. Straight up, I don't even know what I was talking about. I don't even know what I was talking about. So excited to see Don Burr in the chat. So excited to see Don Burr in the chat. Uh, again, man, we started out as enemies. You earned our respect, but you're back. You're back on our poop list, Donnie boy. So I'm looking forward to this week. Yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. What was I talking about? What was I talking about before Don Burr derailed us? A phenomenal derail, I might add. Oh, well, we'll have you in spirit, Donnie boy. We'll have you in spirit. Good to have you around these parts as we get ready. But unfortunately for Donnie, not a big emphasis on Lions today because everyone's taking shots at our quarterback. Because there's 3 terrific quarterbacks in the playoffs. 3 terrific quarterbacks and Brock Purdy. And that's essentially what we have gotten today. We have gotten that today from a lot of national media. My favorite, I think, and I think it's dominated today, is Ryan Clark's comments. Ryan Clark really stirred the pot today, which he's known for doing. Ryan Clark is definitely known for stirring the pot. He did this in 2019. This was actually the first time that I really paid attention or like really heard of Ryan Clark as an analyst when he called the 49ers pretenders. And he became a 49er enemy back then. And that was the year the 49ers went 13-3 and went all the way to the Super Bowl. And, it's fitting. It's fitting that we're back here. And I do appreciate him admitting that he's been low-key fraudulent with his analysis, that he's basically been a front-runner analysis, just kind of riding the coattails of the mainstream talking points and the narratives. And today is a day where he felt he could draw back the curtain a little bit and really be able to openly give his opinions for the first time on quarterback Brock Purdy because it is convenient for him to do so because of how Brock played in this game against the Packers. You have 2 national televised games, Christmas and here, where Brock had some struggles. And Ryan Clark's like, my opportunity has arisen. So I'm sure you guys have already seen the comments or what he said. I don't know if I need to go over and play back for you what you said or what he said, but it's stirred up 49ers players. Like, I see people in the chat saying, "Oh, who cares what he says? Who cares what they say?" We just live in a world where all this stuff is so accessible and in our face that it's almost like even if you try to not pay attention to it, it somehow makes its way right in front of you. And so we had 2 49ers, the 2 starting wide receivers for the San Francisco 49ers today comment on this. And it started out with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk was the first to come to Brock Purdy's defense, and Brandon said, "Y'all need to stop the dissing and turn on the tape. That's for everybody." Everybody, he says. I think that this is honestly the best way to respond to these people. And I'll take it to another level for you guys. When you say watch the tape to someone, what you're essentially saying to them is you've formulated an opinion without knowing absolutely anything that you're talking about. When you tell someone, watch the tape, meaning It's there for you to see. You just have to make the effort to go and watch it, and or you don't know football, because if you're watching it and you're still wrong, then you don't know what you're talking about. That's why watch the tape is such a powerful statement for football players in the football community. I think of, everyone's favorite Rich Madrid. Man, he hit me a couple times with watch the tape. I was like, "You son of a gun, Rich! You hit watch the tape." But it's true. Like, it's true, because it is there for you to see. It's right there for you to see. And that's the thing. And you also have the statistical analysis as well that you can pull. You don't have to just, I'm a visual guy. You guys know this about me. I watch tape. And I don't do a ton of stat stuff, but I'm a very visual person. That's why everything that I do content wise is visually based. I don't do it just, you guys know me. You already know. I don't need to explain it. So you can watch and you can see for yourself, and it's all there. It's all right there. But that's a problem, is that it takes effort to really watch. Like, you can watch a broadcast and miss a lot of stuff. So I love it. And I like also too what Sherman had to say. Sherman said, "I don't get how we hold a second-year quarterback who has gone to NFC Championship game in both of his first 2 years, gets held to the standard of the elite quarterbacks, but none of the credit when he plays elite. 3-1 record in the playoffs and hasn't lost a playoff game in which he has started and finished. Just don't know, RC. Just seems that regardless of what he does, he won't have the talent of the other guys." He's spitting. He's spitting 100%. He's spitting 100%. And then Debo Samuel responded. He took that post, that Ayuk post, and he put it in his story. And he said, "Never seen so much hate for a quarterback that led the league in almost every category. Y'all folks be bugging for real, for real. That tape don't tell no lies." All right. Our starting wide receivers for the San Francisco 49ers smacked them both with watch the tape, pal. He smacked both of them. Both our wide receivers smacked RC with the watch the tape. I love it. I love it. And honestly, it's like, this is our reality. This is our reality. This is our reality with social media. This is our reality with player podcasts. This is what new media looks like. And I'll never forget this transition happened. You guys know me. I'm super big into social media, and I'm not just into like posting social media. Like, I truly understand all of this down to its fundamental core, which is why I've been able to have the success that I've been able to have on social media. It's not by accident. I'll never forget the day media changed. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it involved the San Francisco 49ers. The day media changed forever, sports media, I should say, was the day that George Kittle tweeted Antonio Brown and said, "Sup, AB." Do you guys remember that? Some of you might be like, that seems random. But the butterfly effect of George Kittle tweeting Antonio Brown just as the season had ended and said, "Sup, AB," that was headlined every show for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then AB took that, and then he started going crazy on social media. AB, Antonio Brown, literally, with the help of George Kittle, changed the directional course of what drives sports media today. And that was the defining moment that sports media shifted to social media based because of George Kittle tweeting him saying "Sup AB" as a prank from Jimmy Garoppolo while they were in Vegas. And the literal news cycle was in an Antonio Brown chokehold from that moment until 8 months later, until he burned his feet off with the Raiders. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, that was the moment this all shifted. And since then, it's gained more and more and more power, more and more and more steam. Now we have player podcasts in season. Crazy. Everyone's got a podcast now, which is phenomenal. But that kind of takes the power away from national media. That kind of takes the power from the outlets. Sports Illustrated just laid off their entire staff. Sports Illustrated is done. Sports Illustrated was the pinnacle of sports journalism for decades. The cover of Sports Illustrated, like all of it, it's all changed. It's all evolved. It is all social media reaction driven. That's the age of where we're at. So this stuff that we're talking about, like, this is our reality. This is our reality. This is what it is. This is how this all works now. And it's a double-edged sword. It really is, because I guarantee you, not everyone wants to talk about this all the time. I like, it's a function because, Debo responds to something, Ayuk responds to something, Kittle responds, like, that's news. Like, that's something as a content creator that we have to cover. It's like, we can't just like, oh, that didn't happen, we didn't see it. It's just it's where we're at. So all of this back and forth, all this react, like, it's a nature of the beast. So it's not going to go away anytime soon. And Brock Purdy finds himself kind of right there in the center of that, right? He kind of finds himself right in the middle. Shout out to Mike and Kim, new members of the channel. Appreciate you guys subbing. I really, really do. We got a couple we got one super chat. Ryan Clark looks like a great value. Idris Elba. Damn. I mean, I'll say this. You don't have to like his takes, but maybe just comment on how you don't like his takes, man. Leave that man alone. Like, I don't really like a whole lot Ryan Clark has to say. But damn, that's crazy. This is a great conversation to kind of get us back on track on the whole Brock Purdy situation, right? Danny says, Brad, quick question. Why don't NFL fans say Manning or Brady are system quarterbacks? They also had great players. Yes, they did. And I talked about this on a video earlier, and I think that this, for me, sums up where the state of NFL quarterback perception is, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with perception at this current point, and that's why Brock is on the opposite end of it, because Brock can literally go out here and make a throw like this, and while getting hit under pressure, laying it over a linebacker in between safeties, and people will close their eyes and pretend like it didn't happen. Oh, well, he's a system quarterback. If it wasn't for Debo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk or Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle, well, guess what? This particular catch that we're watching right here, that was none of those. That was none of those guys. That's a former 7th-round draft pick right there out of Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. That guy played quarterback at one point. Brock Purdy getting rocked in the chest, throwing it into insane coverage. Phenomenal play by Jawan Jennings, by the way, to go up and get that. But again, fits your narrative. Fits your narrative. What narrative are you pushing, and does what happened fit it, or does it go against it? That's a lot of what sports media is today. It's a lot of what kind of this hot takey era that we're in, this kind of bleh. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But the reason why they say this is because Peyton Manning and Tom Brady did what they did. Peyton was a number 2 overall pick. Tom Brady, we know the story, in 199, so they're a bit different starts. I'm of the belief you strip away the Super Bowls. Super Bowls are in part, in my opinion, a team you have to win a Super Bowl as a team. You can't win it as an individual. But I understand it. I get it. Like why winning championships elevates you in the legacy rankings. It makes perfect sense to me. But just for the sake of like football evaluation in a bubble, you take away the accolades, the all pros, the Pro Bowls, the MVPs, the Super Bowl MVP. You just take that stuff away and you evaluate these two guys kind of in a vacuum. I would say that Peyton Manning was the better quarterback. Now, he didn't have the better overall success that, Tom Brady has, again, is my point. But Peyton Manning was a savant. Like Peyton Manning really pushed the quarterback position forward. And there's plenty of instances where Tom Brady has given Peyton Manning credit for seeing things Peyton has done and emulating stuff into his game. Peyton he was at a different level when it came to playing the quarterback position. And Peyton's famous for throwing one of the ugliest footballs of all time because it was constantly a duck. Like Peyton Manning would not have survived in this social media era because if a team account posts a practice clip of a football that has slight wobble to it, oh, you're getting cooked. You're getting ratioed into oblivion. Oh, look at that duck, quack, quack. Like, it's insane. Meanwhile, one of the best quarterbacks that has ever played in our game, he did not throw a pretty ball. he's just smart. He was surgical. He was a general on the field, and he knew how to get it done. And part of the reason, and the reason why, in a long-winded way of why they don't call those guys system quarterbacks now, is because during that time frame, that's when the prototypical quarterback was a pocket quarterback. And so this is going to get us into our next kind of transition us into our next topic of kind of like the current state of quarterback perception and why Brock Purdy is getting the treatment he's getting. Is because if Brock Purdy came around Brock Purdy came around 10, 15 years ago, this would not be a conversation. It wouldn't at all. Because only until 2017, 2018, 2019 has the perception of quarterbacks done a complete 180. There's a reason why Mitchell Trubisky was drafted ahead of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. There is a reason why that happened, because that represents the current state of the quarterback perception at the time. And that right there, that draft, Patrick Mahomes was the third quarterback taken. Anyone with two eyeballs could see that Patrick Mahomes was insanely good. Just go watch him and Baker Mayfield duel it out, Texas Tech versus Oklahoma. Patrick Mahomes had all the talent in the world. It was extremely easy to see. But that wasn't the state of the NFL yet. The state of the NFL wasn't, mobile quarterbacks. It was pocket quarterbacks. It was quarterbacks who could be accurate, who could throw with anticipation, who could read defenses pre and post snap, and make plays within the pocket. Sound familiar? Who does that sound like? Sounds like the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. But the problem is Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson redefined the perception of quarterback play in the NFL. Josh Allen redefined the perception of quarterback play in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. These are the guys that redefined the perception of quarterback play in the NFL. Someone in the comments says Kaepernick. No, not Kaepernick, not RG3. They were ahead of their time. They were ahead of their time. Even though RG3 won Offensive Rookie of the Year in Washington with Kyle Shanahan, it wasn't the turning point. It wasn't the turning point. At one point, did I believe that was the case? Absolutely. I thought RG3 and Kaepernick were the turning point for the quarterback position. But they both flamed out of the league. And so, no, they kind of reset the narrative. We saw Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert go early in the first round. What's the dude's name? Jake Locker. EJ Manuel. He had a little bit of duel in him, not a whole lot. Do you guys remember where Lamar Jackson went? Lamar Jackson slid all the way to pick 32. Do you think in today's world, in today's perceived quarterback situation, Lamar Jackson slides to 32? No. 31. Thank you. No, he doesn't. He doesn't, because he is a part of the perception change in quarterbacks. He is a part of the shift in narrative for how quarterbacks are evaluated. And as someone who's I evaluate prospects. I've seen all of this happen. I was there. I watched all of it as I'm scouting and evaluating prospects myself. So I have a strong foundation of what I'm talking about. And that's why Lamar Jackson went where he went. It wasn't until all these guys found success in the league that now everyone's looking for the next Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where Brock Purdy finds himself on the wrong side of that narrative, because Brock Purdy, and I think this is what it boils down to. This is really what it boils down to. And why I don't think Brock may ever get full love and appreciation by the football world in totality, because he will never be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. He'll never be Lamar Jackson, ever. Ever. He will never be in that category in regards to quarterback play style. That will never happen. And that in of itself is why I believe Brock Purdy receives so much pushback. And he will never be that guy, because he doesn't have the physical tools. He doesn't have those physical traits. And that is the definition right now of what a prototypical quarterback looks like. And so now they're using those narratives, they're using that perception to aim it at Brock Purdy and say, well, that's why he's not a good quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He can never be Patrick Mahomes. And that's why this conversation is going to go on and on forever, because Brock Purdy will never be Patrick Mahomes. They're not the same. They have completely different play styles. Brock Purdy fits exceptionally well for what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do. Brock Purdy is an elite processor. He has elite intangibles. He has elite leadership qualities. He has all the makeups of being an elite quarterback. He just doesn't have the elite athleticism. Brock has phenomenal athleticism for who he is, but he's not 6'5", 240. And by these evaluator standards, if you don't look like that, then because everything's eye test, right? The hardest thing to scout in football is the intangibles. I've said this for years, and it's arguably the most important. The intangibles are so important to a player's success. It's one of the reasons why, for me, like I'll use the most recent example that I have. Kadarius Toney coming out of Florida. I was like, this guy's a game changer. Kadarius Toney has the opportunity to take over this league based on how much talent he has. Until I listened to a couple interviews with him. I listened to a couple interviews of Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney went on the Daniel Jeremiah podcast, Move the Sticks, and I instantly removed him off any type of draft content, anything. I said, nope, that dude ain't it. Now, he's got the talent, hasn't gone anywhere. Kadarius Toney is very talented. He's exceptionally talented, but he doesn't have the intangible part of it. He has the physical part. He has the physical tools and the traits, everything you want. He's not the full package. And if you're taking a shot on a prospect who doesn't have the full package, there is a high probability they're going to crash and burn. Look at Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith is a Hall of Famer on physical traits alone. But unfortunately, he didn't have the intangible qualities at the time to be able to stay in the league and to be able to do the things that he needed to do as a professional to reach that potential. So that's why when we look at the evaluation process, and the NFL draft's right around the corner, so I'm kind of giving you how I think of this stuff. This is how I think as someone who evaluates. Like, I pride myself on the ability to evaluate. It's a huge part of it. But with quarterbacks, it's also a huge part of it, but it's never talked about. Or let me rephrase that. It's become secondary. It's become a secondary element to evaluating quarterbacks because it's much easier to be able to look at a Josh Allen run 50 yards downfield, stiff arming 3 dudes and scoring a touchdown, and then standing in the pocket and throwing a 70-yard bomb downfield. And you're like, oh, he's elite. Of course. Of course, you would love that. You would love all the physical tools. If we're playing Madden right now, I'm taking Brock Purdy's processing. I'm taking Brock Purdy's leadership. I'm taking Brock Purdy's like every intangible, and we're building like a Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen kind of Frankenbeast. The point being is Brock will always be knocked because he isn't physically imposing and he doesn't have the biggest arm. And as a 49er fan base who I am preparing for Brock Purdy to be the franchise quarterback moving forward. So I am anticipating Brock Purdy is going to be our quarterback for many years. At minimum the next couple years. We'll figure it out when it comes to contract conversation time. But until that time, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. We're riding with Brock. And so the point of kind of this long-winded rant is just like, get your mind ready. Is that these conversations aren't going to weigh if he wins a Super Bowl. If he wins a Super Bowl, he will even get more scrutinized. And so just the point being is just this is our reality. Is people are going to constantly talk down on him. They're constantly going to discredit his worth and his value. And they're constantly just going to put it into everyone else's, give credit to everyone else other than him. Because he doesn't look like these prototypical quarterbacks. So what do we say? That's fine. That's fine. Say whatever you want. We don't care. We don't care. Because as long as he goes out there and executes, does what he does against the Packers in the final drive, we don't care. Go do it. Say whatever you want. Don't watch tape. Don't look at the stats. Don't care. Don't care. Because that guy, Brock Purdy, has proven to be a winner. And he is winning us football games. And if there's one trait that you want to have in a quarterback, I would say it's being a winner. It's being a winner. It's being a leader. It's being an elite processor. It's being a elite game manager. Oh my gosh, guys. Did you know as a quarterback, you actually have to manage the game? Did I just blow your mind? Oh my goodness. You're telling me the quarterback has to know the entire playbook. No, not just know the entire playbook. Know every single player's responsibility for every single play. You know what I've had to do before as a center sometimes? And I hate to admit this. But I've had to ask my quarterback, damn, what do I do right here? And my quarterback, he's like, all right, take your zone footwork to the right, work to backer. Oh, yes, sir. You know, the quarterback has to know every responsibility on that field for 10 other people. so that when the play goes into his here, what is it like? Gun right, trips left, zone cat, zebra green, fire goose, green zebra, check down with me, can at the line, on 14, ready break. He's got to take that information, one, understand it, spit it out his mouth to 10 other people in the huddle within like 10-second time period. And to give you an understanding, the reason why those plays are so long is because think of it like segments. As an offensive lineman, I'm only caring about if it's a run or a pass, what the snap count is, and what my responsibility is. The other things for the wide receivers, I tune out. I don't care. The wide receivers, they're only waiting for their part and what they have to do. The running back, they're only waiting for what they have to do, what the protection might be called for. So it's like Brock has to know everything. And then he has to get them in the right look. And then he comes to the line of scrimmage. And then he has to read the defense and then determine, okay, well, this is what the defense is showing me pre-snap. Well, what happens after I hike it? Oh, don't forget that Kyle Shanahan's offense uses more pre-snap motion than any other offense in the league. And then he's got to be able to read what the defense is showing him pre-snap, hike the ball. Sometimes he has to turn his back completely to the defense and then turn around. And then, oh, look, the defense was disguising coverage and rotated from too high to single high. And they're bringing one off the edge. And my back was turned and I just turned around and I have to know what to do. People don't give Brock credit for that. He plays so well within scheme. He plays so well within the system. They don't credit him for it. They credit Kyle Shanahan. They credit his weapons. So this is the reality of a 49er fan, is that Brock Purdy is going to be the punching bag until he wins 14 Super Bowls. And even if he wins 14 Super Bowls, people are still going to call him a game manager. People are still going to say, well, but it is what it is. So this is our reality as 49er fans. So I personally relish in it because I would be more concerned if I actually didn't believe in Brock. Like if I really had a doubt in what Brock's abilities were, I wouldn't. I can't fake this confidence. I can't fake this passion. It's just I'm not that type of person. So I genuinely believe in it. I genuinely believe in him, and I genuinely believe in what he's capable of. So, and the other thing is, it's like he's just scratching the surface. He's a second-year quarterback. This is his first full season in the NFL. And he's not even a made man yet. His own coach said, I'm gonna damn near replace you, pal. I love Brock, man. I love Brock. I do. I got mad respect for that dude. Mad respect for Brock. So whatever happens, I got hella respect for that dude. So I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by him. I'm blown away by what he's been able to prove to me. I'm blown away by how he's handled himself. I'm blown away by how he's led this team, how he handles himself in front of the media. Dude is just turned 24 this year. So I feel that way. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel somewhat similar. We might not all see eye to eye. We don't have to agree implicitly 100% or anything like that. But I think when the reason why this becomes such a huge talking point is because we're passionate fan base, 100% passionate. We ride for this team. We ride or die. It's intertwined. Like I'm at the point, I've been doing content for 49ers. What a shoot. Is this year 7? I can't even keep track anymore. I really started doing this in 2018. So, um, in engaging and talking with faithful, I could guarantee if you cut any one of us, we're bleeding red and gold. Like that's just how the 49er faithful rock, man. Like I know that this team is integrated in with your families. I know it's integrated in with your friendships. I know it's integrated in with your communities. People who are 49er fans, it's almost an identity. So when you attack one of our own, I think a lot of the fan base kind of takes it like you're attacking us too. You're attacking you're attacking us. You're not just talking crap about Brock Purdy. It's like, well, if Brock Purdy's our quarterback, you're talking crap about our quarterback. That's our guy. That's our son. That's the chosen one. So I understand all the back and forth. I get it. Passionate. We love this team. We literally it's literally integrated into our lives. I mean, it's like 500 people in here. There's been like 500 people in this chat the whole time. Like we're crazy. Good crazy. Good crazy, but we're crazy. We're crazy passionate about this team. And when you come after one of our own, you better come correct. I think that's what we say. Like criticism is warranted when it's warranted. Things are going to happen, mistakes are going to be made. Criticism, it's not like we are undeserving of criticism and we just can't handle criticism. No, 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 no. We can handle criticism. Our fan base is going to be the first to criticize. See, that's what I don't think national people know this. I don't think national people understand that if something goes down that we don't like, we are the first to stand up and say, "What are you doing?" So, as a result of that, when you don't come correct and you don't come with facts, you don't come with tape, you don't come with stats, yeah, we stand up when we say, "What are you talking about, pal?" So, hey, man, it's been an interesting day. It's been an interesting day for sure. Um, it's been an interesting day, and this is it. This is where we're at, and I think this is really kind of what today is it's circle the wagon season. 49ers are number one on everyone else's hit list because we don't belong here because we have a quarterback who was Mr. Irrelevant. I think Pat McAfee said it today. He said something like, "Oh, Brock Purdy looks like he should be bagging groceries." And he wasn't saying it in this like as a slight. He was saying like why he believes people have a hard time kind of rallying behind Brock. And it's along the lines of kind of what I was talking about earlier, based on the perception of quarterbacks and the current state of perception, and why everyone has this thought and feeling, right? So listen, the point of all this is to say, do we care about what Ryan Clark has to say at the end of the day? No, we don't. We really don't. What we care about as a fan base, what we care about is standing up for our own. That's what we care about. We care about defending ours. We don't care about Ryan Clark. Who cares about Ryan Clark? Dude is a former Steelers cornerback. Who cares what he has to say? No one cares what he has to say. What we care about are people taking shots, disrespecting our own. That's what we care about. We don't care about what Ryan Clark has to say. Dude admitted to just writing narratives, like writing the narratives of the season. Well, now that Brock Purdy's finally showing that he's human, here's a perfect opportunity for me to say that I felt this way all along. We don't care, Ryan. We really don't. We really don't, Ryan. Like, and he knows this. He knows this. He knows that the 49er fan base is rabid. He knows the 49ers fan base is passionate, and we defend our own. So, time to get those views up. I guarantee you, I can't imagine how many producers, how many camera ops, how many assistants sat around a conference room this morning and talked about, what do we want to do for content today? What segments should we integrate in today's show? Ooh, I got one. Let's tell the truth about how I really feel about Brock Purdy. So, to be honest, man, it is what it is. I'm here for it. And I like where we're at as a team. I like where we're at. And to be honest, I think this all just galvanizes this team even more. One thing that I've noticed about this team is that they are absolutely down to rally for their quarterback. Well, guess what? They don't need reasons to rally for their quarterback. But if you're going to give them one, they're going to do it. That's why we heard from Brandon Ayuk. That's why we heard from Deebo Samuel. And the biggest one to me is Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk doesn't say anything. Brandon Ayuk, like me, he's an introvert. He is not going to go out of his way to say nothing, to cause a stir. That's just not how he's wired. I don't know for a fact, but I would have to assume Ayuk is an introvert. I'm an introvert. I get it. I vibe with it. Fellow introverts, stand up. But that makes what he says more impactful. Brandon Ayuk ain't out here looking for clicks. He's not out here looking to get his name in the headlines. Brandon Ayuk out here to play ball. And ball only. So when Ayuk says, get my quarterback's name out your mouth, you struck a nerve. You struck a nerve. And that's the point. We don't care about Ryan Clark, but doesn't mean you can't strike a nerve. And that's what happened today. So that's fine. It's fine. I'll do my best. I will do my best to weed through all the garbage. I'll do my best. to be like garbage, garbage, not garbage, 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 not garbage. I'll do my best. He's got a point. No, this dude's just talking out of his mouth. I'll do my best to try to weed through all the garbage and identify it as such. And then we move on with our lives. And we know what the real is. CMC, ya later, says Brock got us the 1 seed. His team believes in him. Enough said. Humble and focused. My quarterback. That's it. That is it. Hey, you missed it. Domberg came in at the very beginning. He made quite the scene. He squirreled me. I was getting ready to go and like start my long-winded rant, and then Domberg comes in and absolutely derailed the show, and I was absolutely here for it. It was my favorite. Donnie. We had to cook Donnie a little bit. Just a little bit. Just had to kind of you're not our pal this week. Not this week, Donnie. We're back to where we started. Am I worried about the run defense against the Lions? I mean, the Lions, man, that could pose a problem for sure. They have a phenomenal offensive line. They have phenomenal running backs. You got to make them one-dimensional. I really do think that's the key. They got to make this team one-dimensional somehow. So whether it's making them one-dimensional with the run game, making them one-dimensional with the passing game, I think you have to disrupt Jared Goff in some sense, is really what it comes down to. And you can either disrupt him by creating pressure on him, or you can disrupt him by playing coverage and just taking away his options, or just limiting the run game and forcing him into 3rd and longs and taking him out of 3rd and manageables, 2nd and manageables. You have to muddy it up for Goff. So we know Goff. We know Goff well. I know Goff well. Look right over my shoulder. I watched Jared Goff for 4 years at Cal when I was like in the peak of my interest in college football. When I was evaluating, guys, I'm crazy. I was evaluating high school players at one point. I got problems. Like, that's how much I love evaluation. That's how much I love football evaluation, is that I would evaluate who Cal signed. I was like, wait. I was like, who do we get? All right, let's go watch the tape on this 6'1", wide receiver out of Alabama. What's his name? Oh, it's Keenan Allen. Oh, that's my guy. But I don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, I probably know more than I should. But the point being is, I paid attention to Cal. So, like, I even remember a quarterback that I played against at San Ramon Valley. I think his name was Josh Klein. I can't remember. I played against him. Roy Helu Jr. was their running back. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a running back for the Washington Redskins at the time. He also was a running back for the Raiders. But he went to Cal, and I thought he was going to be the starter. And then Jared Goff came in and beat him out the job, and then never looked back, and then became the number 1 overall pick. And so the point being is, I've kind of watched Goff develop in college into the NFL. I've always had a belief in Goff. I always have known how good Goff is. And I just kind of always have known he needs a certain environment, and he didn't really have that environment with the Rams. So that I think he does pose a problem. He does pose a little bit of a problem for the 49ers because if again, you keep him clean, if you can't get pressure on Goff, it could be a long day. And if they can get in and out of their offense, get in rhythm, rushing, throwing, play action, it could be a tough one. But I also do know what Goff is not good at, and he is not good at handling pressure. So if you can move him off his spot, he's not escaping anyone. So if you can get to Goff in less than 2.5 seconds, you can absolutely impact that offense. So that's the goal. You got to get to Goff early and often. You got to hit him. You got to rattle him. That's what you got to do. So whether it's, stopping the run completely, whatever, we just have to make them one-dimensional. We have to make them one-dimensional, and we have to go from there. But yeah, today has definitely been a very, very interesting day. So much so I wanted to do the film review today. I really did, but to be honest, I didn't get the film until around like 10 o'clock this morning. And at that point, there's already way too much crap going on and way too much other content to do. So I wasn't able to get into the tape. So I still want to break down this tape, though, from the Green Bay Packers game because clearly there are some narratives that we need to look at and how Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel said, watch the tape, right? So we're still going to watch the tape. I'm just probably going to have to do it tomorrow. So I will do my tape study tonight. And no, we can't do just the last drive. We got to build the suspense. We got to build the story. And we got to know the whys and the hows so that we can appreciate that final drive even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the film tonight, and then we'll do our live film breakdown tomorrow. So we'll do offense tomorrow, and then we'll decide if we want to do the defense as well. And also will allow us to pay attention to what worked, what didn't work. And if we're going to do a film breakdown of that game, that means that we're not going to be talking about everything that was great, but that's going to paint the picture of the story that ultimately led to what we got in the end. So, what time tomorrow? I'll try to aim for 1:30. I'll try to aim for 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That way I can get some content done before, and then we can just hop on and we can vibe out, watch some film, do all that good stuff. So I'm going to aim for 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. There shouldn't be any pressers. I hope not. And again, if there's pressers, we might have to call an audible, but we'll see. But hey, I would say turn post notifications on, but we know YouTube only likes to show you 10% of the post noties. So I would turn the post notifications on, but look around the channel around 1:30, and we can kind of go from there. So we'll take a look at the film, see what we got, and see. And again, I haven't even done the watch back, so I haven't watched the broadcast. So I'm really excited, as I was there, to kind of go back and watch this from a completely different perspective and see how we can make sense of that game even further. So, there you go. I don't know if Chili's in here, but if you join the Discord, you get notifications from the Discord. That cord. Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely. Coffees and cookies tonight. Get your cookies right now while they're hot. Always, I had no idea what I was going to talk about today, but I didn't expect this when I woke up. If someone got the Discord link, drop it in the chat. That would be fantastic. Normally, Chili's in here to do that. I don't know where Chili at. Chili, baby. But grab your cookies on the way out. If you were, whatever. I don't care if you're here the whole time. Just grab your cookies. Grab your figurative, fictional SDS cookies on the way out. Appreciate all you guys for tapping in. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that sub button. Join the film breakdown tomorrow. And hey, just like Debo and Ayuk said, they said watch the tape. All right, we'll watch the tape then. That's what we'll do. We'll do it tomorrow. Shout out all the SDS. Appreciate you guys. It's NFC Championship week, baby. Let's go. Y'all are the best. I'm out of here for now, but I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see